the applications which are developed for the particular task. You know, the high level language developed, I told you that the application softwares are using high level languages. So look at this. The high level languages are like Java, C++, .NET, VB, C Sharp, okay, whatever is the expertise of yours. So can you write, you as an user, write the application software? Yes. When you are a developer, okay, you add given particular task, so you can write your own applications. Okay, so can you write your own operating systems? The question. Can anybody answer? Can you write your own operating system? Hmm? Can you write your own operating system? Gaurav Pararkar, I could see him here in this slide. Gaurav is there. Anybody? जिनके नाम मैं लेती हूँ और वो आंसर नहीं करते, ओके, आई टोल्ड यू व्हाट हैपेंस, राइट? हाँ, चलो, anybody can answer this question? Can you develop your own operating system? Okay, question remains. You think over it and give me the solution in the next class. Okay, so these are the differences between the system software and the application softwares. Okay, and lot many points are there. You get a you may get a minimum question for 4 marks on this. So you have to what you can say, go through those particular points. Now coming to the macroprocessor. Okay, and as I told you, I have shown you where is the macroprocessor in this particular stack. You can see, okay, this is the macroprocessor here. Okay, compilers, assemblers, and macroprocessor, the third layer. Okay, and what we said is the system software is the user is actually a interface, not user interface between the application software and the operating system. Okay, so likewise we'll move ahead and we'll see all the functionalities of the macroprocessor. Okay, so you can see this is a macroprocessor. We can say it is also one kind of translator. Okay, why it is translator? Because the input given to this macroprocessor is the source code, and what it produces is the object code. So what it does, it translates a source code into the object code. Okay, now what is macro? Okay, so you can see actually this diagram particularly will continue with this particular thing. So a macro comes first. You got a source program, and in that source program you got one particular macro kind of code. It converts it into the object code, and this object code is being passed to the assembler, and then it converts into the target code. Likewise, so what is a macro? Okay, now you have to assume a situation that, okay, the assembly language programmer often finds it that it is necessary to repeat some block of code many times in this program. What we say, we got some what you can say program code which is needed to be repeated number of times, okay, in the course of the program, or you can say throughout the program it is getting repeated multiple times. Okay, so what happens is in this particular situation the block may consist of code to save, okay, or to exchange the set of registers, for example, okay, or code to set up the linkages or to perform the series of the arithmetic operations. Okay, likewise, so in this situation, okay, the programmer will find a what you can say useful facility which is called as the macro instructions. Okay, so what macro instructions does, oftenly these macros are generally single line abbreviations, okay, for the group of the instructions. So what is macro? If at all you get a questions, you have to remember that macro is a group of instructions and it is a single line abbreviation for macro programming. Okay, so what is written on my slide is the same thing. It is a open subroutine and it represents commonly the used group of the instructions and the statement. Okay, so macro contains the group of the instruction. Okay, sequence of the instructions, group of the instructions are referred as macro. Okay, understood? Any doubt? Okay, so whenever we write a macro, meaning is we got the group of the instructions. And why we need this, why we are using this, the purpose objective is very much simple. If at all in a program or throughout the program some kind of instructions are getting repeated, they are frequently appearing in the program. Okay, so instead of writing them throughout the program in a elongated way, we got a facility to abbreviate all those instructions by one name, and that name is called as macro. Okay, now what are the fundamental functions, that also we need to know. Okay, that is translating mnemonic operation codes to their object code, as we said here. Okay, translating mnemonic operations code matlab mnemonics which are available in the source program. Okay, and this macro converts it into the object code. Okay, and that is what it is, the explanation is that is single line abbreviation for the group of the instructions. Okay. Okay, next let us move to this particular example. Okay, so what are the macro instructions? They are given there. Okay, now in the simplest form, okay, a macro is the abbreviation for the sequence of operations we said. And consider this particular example. What is this example? You can see register A1 comma data, that is add contents of data to register 1, the simple meaning. Second instruction is A2 comma data, that add contents of data to register 2. Third instruction is A3 data, add contents of data to register 3. Okay, in the source program this has appeared first time. Then after some set of again instructions, you can find that similar kind of thing is again repeating. That is A1 comma data, add contents to data register 1. A2 data, add contents of data to register 1. Likewise, same block which is declared earlier is again getting repeated in the same program. You understand? Okay, and then you got what you can say, some kind of declaration, that is data DC F5. Okay, so declared, what you can say, a literal kind of thing, and the literal value is 5. This is repeated. So what we can observe is this particular code repeats twice. Okay, so we got a facility whenever such kind of situation arises in the program, we got a facility to label or to what you can say represent these codes, okay, using a macro. Okay, and that is what is written as macro permits us to attach a name to this code and use this name in place, meaning is I will not write every time whenever this code is appearing in the program, okay, these 3 lines. Instead what I'll use is I will use the name which is defined for this particular sequence. Okay, so as I said, we attach a name to this sequence by means of micro instructions definitions. Okay, and this sequence is in this particular format, structure of macro. Okay, how to define a macro for the repeated instructions. Okay, so start of the definition is the first thing when we declare the macro, so it is represented by macro, macro. Okay, next what you need in the definition is the macro name. Okay, so and look at this, this is what you can say, a square bracket is given here. Okay, so macro incr, the meaning of my what you can say, square bracket is the optional things, but it is always a standard practice key whenever you write a macro, give some name, because when multiple kinds of macros are appearing in the main program, they shall get the proper names. This is the purpose. Third thing which is important in definition of the macro is sequence to be abbreviated. Okay, what is that? Sequence to be abbreviated. Okay, and at last you got the end of the definition of macro, that is represented with M end. Okay, so this is the structure of the macro. How to define macro? Macro name, sequence to be abbreviated, and end of the macro. Understood? Any doubt at this point? To anybody? Are you people there? Or I'm explaining to nobody? Is it the situation?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Understand, ma'am.
Array, please be interactive. I said it shall not be monotonous
Understand.
session. Okay, at least say yes or no. And only Manali will be getting all the plus points because only she responds. And rest, I don't know. Okay, so next moving ahead, then how to write the actual macro using the definition. Okay, we said that a macro is a unit of specification for the program generation. Okay, through an expansion. Okay, so if at all you get a technical definition, so this definition is like this: a macro is a unit of specification for program generation through expansion. Okay, and as per the definition, you can see the very first line is the macro. This is the definition. So I have written this macro here. Next is the name of the macro. So this name is the INCR. Okay, and what are the what you can say set of or sequence of instructions that are needed to be abbreviated. Okay, so this one was, okay, A1 ampersand ARG, okay, A2 ampersand ARG, A3 ampersand ARG. Okay, so these are the argument actually. Okay, if it is data, then you can like this one: A1 data, A2 data, A3 data. Likewise, it is as simple as that. Okay, now this is the thing, the macro is written. Okay, and now whenever I got a repeated what you can say sequence of instructions, I will write the name of the macro. What is the name of the macro? INCR. Okay, so in this particular program, what I'll write is INCR data, INCR data. Instead of writing the complete what you can say set of instructions, I will write the macro definitions. Okay, so this is how the what you can say macro is done. You can see this is explained in this way. The very first thing is